Ellen J. Monroe Drama are celebrating the history of women's football. Historical facts have been mixed with imagined speech to enhance the narrative. A resolution by the Football Association in 1921 changed the course of the game.
I would like to speak to your editor-in-chief, please.
Who might say is calling?
Dr. Mary Lowry.
Mrs. Lowry?
No, not Mrs. Lowry. Dr. Lowry.
Doctor?
Yes, I am a doctor.
I've never seen nor spoken to a woman doctor.
Oh dear me, quite honestly. I've heard this all before. Young man, there have been registered female doctors since 1865.
That long?
Yes, that long. Now please just go and get your editor-in-chief. Hello, is this the editor-in-chief?
Speaking?
The young man who answered my call has just finished delivering the newspapers, I assume?
No.
No? Then I suggest he is told about the world today before he is let loose with a notebook.
May I ask the purpose of your call?
The purpose of my call is to talk to you about the football match on the 26th of December between the Dick Kerr ladies and the Fleetwood ladies.
Oh yes, I've heard about that match.
You may have heard about the match, but you have neglected to print any news of it. The Lancashire Evening News covered the event fully.
But we're in London.
I fully appreciate that the event did not take place in London. However, I would have assumed that as a national newspaper, the Daily Express would wish to cover the event in order that the whole country be made aware of the lady footballers' plight. After all, you managed to print a full-page spread on the Football Association ban without a single word against it.
And you wish to change this?
Yes, I would like to put the facts right regarding women playing football.
Were you at the match?
Indeed, I was at the match. Team captain Alice Cowell invited some of my colleagues and I to witness the game for ourselves. In fact, I had the honour of kicking off.
And how did you find that?
Well, it was quite an experience. My only regret was not to have worn boots. Boots, yes. The referee indicated that I should kick the ball. I took a long run up, as I had been advised, and I kicked the ball quite successfully with my right foot, only to find that my left heel was stuck in the mud. Fortunately, I managed quite a long kick, and I was able to free myself and run off the pitch before the players and the balls came my way.
How embarrassing for you.
Yes, well, that's not the purpose of my telephone call. I wish to make your readers aware of the reasons why women should be allowed to continue to play football.
You would?
Yes, I would. Is that not what you newspapers are for? To hear both sides of the story?
Yes, I suppose it is.
Good. In that case, I should like to ask you if you've ever performed the weekly task of washing the family's clothes.
No, I have certainly not.
No, I imagine you have not. Have you ever used a wringer machine?
A wringer machine?
A wringer, yes. It's used to squeeze the excess water from the weekly wash?
No, my wife does the weekly chores.
Your wife does the weekly chores, yes. I imagine she does. But what I'm asking is, have you ever used the wringer yourself?
As a boy, for fun.
Oh, I see. As a boy, for fun. Well, if you had to use it every week, you would know that it is fairly strenuous work.
As a matter of fact, I have just brought my wife a darling easy washer.
Oh my, I'm sure your wife will be thrilled with her new darling easy washer. I have seen them advertised. No need to go outside to the wringer, as one is attached to the washer. The same strain, but your wife will keep dry on rainy wash days.
So what point are you trying to make?
The point I'm making is that from what I saw of the ladies playing football, the game is no more strenuous or injurious to a woman than these weekly chores. You are silent, sir. I assume, therefore, that you are writing this down.
I am.
Good, because I have more to say on the subject.
Look for the silver lining whene'er a cloud appears in the blue. Remember somewhere the sun is shining, and so the right thing to do is make it shine for you. Such a lovely song. This gramophone recording of Look for the Silver Lining, sung so beautifully by Marianne Harris, is a favourite of my wife's. I play it often, especially when my wife needs to be cheered up, such as yesterday, the day she became mad. Oh no, I do not mean mad in the sense that she'd lost her reason. She was outraged at me. She saw the newspaper article, you see, pointed straight to it, as a matter of fact. The problem being that the sport and play column in the Daily Express is on the opposite page to things a woman wants to know, which, according to the newspaper, is what to wear to the theatre, how to cook an economical and nourishing early dinner for the family, and why are dolls always blue-eyed. I can only imagine the last fascinating subject allowed her own blue eyes to stray from one page to the next. "James William Turner," she cried. "Yes, my dearest one," I replied. I find it best to placate when one is referred to by one's full name. "It says here that you have banned women playing football." "Only on association grounds," I replied, "and not me personally, the council." "But you are part of the council, are you not? And so you are in part responsible." She is correct, of course. I am in part responsible. It was, after all, a unanimous decision. My dear wife could not help but read the report aloud. "Complaints having been made as to football being played by women, the council feel impelled to express their strong opinion that the game of football is quite unsuitable for females and ought not to be encouraged." "Complaints?" she continued. "Complaints from whom?" I replied in earnest. "Doctors gave us warnings as to the harm football can do to women." "Male doctors, I suppose?" "Not all," I responded in an exasperated tone, as I was somewhat annoyed that my wife should be questioning me on a matter that is actually no concern of hers. Female doctors also had concerns. "I did not think you believed in female doctors." Now, she was questioning me not only about the council's decision, but also on a very personal matter. While I understand many female doctors currently work in Harley Street, it is not my wish to become one of their patients. However, their knowledge in this occasion I have recognised, with one such physician considering football a most unsuitable game, too much for the physical frame of a woman. My remarks did not discourage my wife, who continued reading. "The council are further of the opinion that an excessive proportion of the receipts from matches are absorbed in expenses and an inadequate percentage devoted to charitable objects." This view I knew already, of course, and it was becoming rather frustrating that my wife should be pointing them out in this manner. Should she not be thinking about why dolls' eyes are always blue? Therefore, I decided not to respond to the last 2 points, so she continued thus. "For these reasons, from the 5th of December 1921, the Council request clubs belonging to the Football Association to refuse the use of their grounds for such machines." Such matches? By that remark, I assume you mean women's matches? Surely you cannot do that. But my dear, we can. We are, after all, the governing body for the sport as a whole. What the newspaper is not reporting is that we are allowing women to play football simply at a recreational level. This did not appease my wife. During the war, women did men's jobs and played a man's game. Now I suppose you men... She well nigh shouted these words, with her pointing straight at me, and continued in what I felt was a rather antagonistic manner. "Want us women to return to what I suppose you would call our right and proper place in society." That was the point at which I decided to play the gramophone record. I felt it was sure to calm matters.
What I would like you to print are the facts. These lady footballers come onto the field perfectly trained to be able to stand any slight strains. During the game, they receive no more wrenches than they would in a tennis match, or by using a ringing machine. Indeed, we should be poorly made individuals if we could not bear a few wrenches.
Do you have any evidence that no injuries have occurred to the lady footballers?
To be truthful, there is no more evidence of injuries to women whilst playing football than there is within the men's game. As a matter of fact, I know that one of the lady footballers, who is a nurse, came off night duty and cycled the 7 miles to Preston, then travelled by train to the Midlands. That afternoon she played a fine game of football and was back on duty at the hospital that very same evening.
I shall print a piece in our column, Things a Woman Wants to Know.
My good man, printing my words in your column, Things a Woman Wants to Know, will not draw the attention of the male reader.
It's a very popular column.
I am very well aware of the column's popularity. I am also aware of some of the contents. Take this headline, for instance: "No job is too arduous for a woman, even laying paving stones." You are silent again. Then allow me to read from your column. First of all, take up a little patch of ground at the margin of your site and drive in a stake. Clear away some of the earth and then begin to lay the stones. Do not overtire yourself lifting the stones. Little and often is the thing to aim at. The column then continues with details of this arduous task.
This was, I'm told, a popular article.
It was a popular article. Popular with whom?
With our female readers.
I beg to disagree. I would think it has most likely been popular with husbands who wish for their wives to take on all the strain of all the household tasks.
I'm sure that is not the case.
If you can advocate for women laying paving stones, then I am quite sure you can support my reasoning as to why the Football Association ban should not be in place.
I shall certainly look at doing so.
I hasten to add there still remains a patronising attitude towards women, who are, in some circles, still regarded as decorative appendages of men with no other purpose than to bear children. Hello? Hello? Operator, I appear to have been cut off. Could you please put me through to the Daily Express in London? I have much more I need to say. I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow, life with its tear, fades into dreams when I feel you are near. For I love you truly, truly, dear.
Oh, George, I do wish you were here. You will remember that song, of course. The orchestra played it at the Lion's Corner house on the Strand, the afternoon of our engagement. I wore a pair of white lace gloves that Ma had made me especially for the occasion, and you said my hands looked as delicate as the china. Well, me and Ethel had tea there the other week. It was after training. We will be going there more often now because Ethel and I are playing for Lions Ladies. We had just come off the pitch after playing a game against Plymouth Ladies. We were all quite done in as it happens, as both sides agreed to play 20 minutes of extra time because all was level at 0-0. We were just coming off the pitch, and Ethel was congratulating me for scoring the only goal of the match when a man approached us. He tells us he is from the Lions Ladies Football Club and would we like to play for them. Wow, we said yes straight away. Lions ladies are one of the strongest teams in the south of the country, George. What women footballer would say no to joining them? It was our first match last week. To Pa's Delight games are played at Stamford Bridge. We played Bath ladies and beat them 10-0. You would be so proud of me, George. I played number 7 down the right wing and scored 2 of the goals on my first appearance. The first goal came from Ethel passing me the ball from the left wing and nearly locking me out with the force of the shot. My second goal came when I broke free from the girl that was supposed to be marking me, rather easily I have to admit. I carried on running through and netted whilst the back stood around arguing about some alleged offence or other. You should have seen their faces, George. They had a "how dare you" look upon them. I giggled all the way back to the centre spot. I do think, though, that some of the Bath players had hardly kicked a ball before, as our goalkeeper did not have to make a single save. It was a great experience, and we were so looking forward to the next match. But then we heard some bad news. We were at Nell's house, Ethel and me. Bill said that the Football Association had banned ladies' football teams from playing on association grounds. It was in his newspaper, he said, that complaints had been made about football being played by women, that the game is quite unsuitable for females and ought to be discouraged. I said that's total rubbish. I had never felt any ill effects from playing. Ethel agreed, and said she had not either. Ethel said housework is not half the trouble it used to be because of our games and the training. That made me smile, and I told Nell and Bill that Ethel was also training in some way or another, like the other day when we were coming back from the shops together. We saw some boys playing football in the streets. Even though Ethel was laden down with shopping bags in each hand, she easily took the ball and dribbled round the boys before scoring between their jumper goalposts. As we started to walk away, one of the boys said, "Thanks, miss. We were losing until you came along." That made us all laugh. But then Bill read some more of the article to us. He said a doctor had told the Football Association that kicking the ball is too jerky a movement for women. Ethel said, "That has put pay to sex then, has it? Well, that will serve the men right." She is still fighting for women's rights, George. She said that us women were liberated during the war. We did the men's jobs and played a man's game. When the war was over, we had to give up those jobs, and now we're supposed to give up football too. Bill said that we would not have to give up, but he said that the council are requesting clubs belonging to the Football Association to refuse the use of grounds of women's football because they think an inadequate percentage of the receipts go to charity. Well, George, we all agreed that they are telling lies. We play for the Gillett and Johnson all games for charity. Nell said they cannot stop clubs doing that, can they, Bill? But Bill said they can because it is them that make the rules. Ethel said she expects they are all men, but I said now was not the time to bring that up. I said, I suppose we should have to think ourselves lucky to have played all over London. Highbury, White Hart Lane, your beloved Craven Cottage, George, and Stamford Bridge, of course. Bill said he would have liked the opportunity to play on those grounds, and I suppose you would have too, George. Bill said it is not the ground that is so important, it is playing the game. And nobody's right, but the thrill of running onto those pitches, the noise of the crowd to cheer you on, that will never be the same again. So next week we are to play an exhibition match against the Regent Palace Hotel. The press will be invited. Our manager wants them to form their own opinion of ladies playing football. We will not be playing at Stamford Bridge, of course, but Pa said he would be there just the same. We are to play on a pitch in the recreational park at Sudbury Hill, in Harrow, so I dare say that Pa will be one of our very few spectators. We have been used to playing in front of large crowds. 20,000 people watch the game against Bath ladies. I dare say the Football Association don't like that either. Oh, George. Whenever I play, you are with me. I carry a photograph with me everywhere I go. It is waiting for me in every change room that I'm in, and that will not alter. I often read your last and so very final letter. I do not like to think of the manner in which it had to be written, but I treasure those last words. Goodbye, my beloved sweetheart. May God in his mercy look over you. Eternal love, from your George. I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow, life with its tear, fades into dreams when I feel you are near. For I love you truly.